In this video, I'm going to cover the age of imperialism, then leading into World War I. The new imperialism was caused by the search for new markets and materials like in Africa, the want to spread Christianity to unindustrialized countries, the hope to find new places for naval and military bases, and the ideologies of nationalism and social Darwinism. Social Darwinism was the new idea of survival of the fittest. The more industrialized and powerful countries would overtake the lesser ones. White man's burden was also another view of how the greater countries would bring their culture to uncivilized peoples of the world. These causes led to the scramble of Africa. By 1914, when the imperialization was all stopped, Europe controlled everything in Africa except for Liberia and Ethiopia. From 1880 and before, Europe only controlled about 10% of Africa. Imperialism started around 1879 when Belgium took control of the Congo. Then, in 1883, Britain took control of Egypt, and this became the model for the new imperialism. Because these countries started taking lands and possibly disrupting the balance of power, the Berlin Conference was called. This was a conference held for the major countries in Europe hoping to industrialize to establish rules for imperialization. Some of these rules were that no man could claim a territory until they all controlled it, and that there were no international conflicts over imperialism. Britain continued to expand and took control of Sudan through the Battle of Omdurman, South Africa through the Boer War, and Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Zanzibar. The French Empire also imperialized by gaining Algeria, Tunisia, French West Africa, and Morocco. Germany did not unify until 1871, but still stretched to Cameroon, Togoland, German East Africa, and Southwest Africa. Italy also joined and gained Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Libya. Portugal got Angola as well. There was also imperialism in not only Africa, but Asia as well. In China, Britain and China started the Opium Wars. Britain took some cities along their coast, forcing them to surrender, resulting in the Treaty of Nanking. This was a treaty that gave Hong Kong to Britain in 1842. It also allowed for 4 treaty ports to be opened to the British. The Second Opium War forced 6 more ports to be opened and also forced China to accept trade. France also gained territory from China like the Canton Bay and the southern provinces. Russia controlled Manchuria, and Germany had the Shandong province. Then the US demanded for trade in China to be open and for them not to interfere with any treaty ports. India was taken over by Britain and was known as the Jewel of the British Empire. The British East India Company was given control of India as Parliament. Hindu and Muslim soldiers spread in India because they resented Britain taking control of Indian states. By 1858, however, the British Parliament ruled India. Britain did bring in reforms like education and economic development. They created a unified state and an Indian National Congress, which eventually led India to become independent. Africa and Asia were all imperialized by the time World War I started. There are many causes of World War I, some long-term and few short-term. It started with the alliances of the Triple Alliance with Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire, and the Triple Entente of Britain, France, and Russia. The Anglo-German arms race was another cause, because it caused conflict for who was more industrialized and militarized. Imperialism also was a cause because it created tensions between the powers of who got which colony, further leading to go on to more major conflicts. Nationalism was the last long-term cause because each country viewed their country as the best and wanted the best for their country. The immediate cause of World War I was the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand in Sarajevo by the Black Hand, which were a group of Serbian nationalists. Because of this, Austria then declared war on Serbia, who was then backed up by Russia. Then France moved in on Russia, who was backed up by Germany. This created the mass conflict, which immediately led to World War I. The two alliances were now the Central Powers, who was Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria. And then there were the Allied Powers, who were Britain, France, Russia, and later Japan, Italy, and the US. Germany first made the move of the Schlieffen Plan. This was a German tactic to invade France through Belgium and then after defeating them, turn around and defeat Russia. This was shut down by the Battle of Marne when the French and British pushed the Germans back. This stopped the movement on the Western Front. This created what was called trench warfare. Soldiers dug up trenches to avoid the fire of machine guns, but once they dug a trench, they couldn't leave without running into no man's land and getting shot by a machine gun. There are more technology advancements during the war as well. Weapons like the machine gun, tanks, airplanes, poison gas, U-boats, zeppelins, and the radio revolutionized warfare and society forever. On the Eastern Front, Hindenburg and Ludendorff of Germany defeated invading Russian armies, putting them at an all-time low. This created the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk, which took Russia out of the war if they gave Germany 1/4 of their territory. Russia then went to go fight in their internal struggles in their civil war known as the Russian Revolution. Back at home in these countries, news was censored and propaganda was destroying enemies. The whole world was in on this nationalist movement. Economics in the home countries turned from capitalism to central planning, and women replaced male workers in their own jobs. At the end of the war in 1919, the major powers met at the Paris Peace Conference. Britain, France, the United States, and Italy ran the meeting. There, they created the Versailles Treaty, which put sole blame on Germany, making them pay for the whole reparations. Woodrow Wilson of the United States also released his 14 points, which was a call for peace. In this, they created the League of Nations, but which ended up not having any power. After World War I, 10 million soldiers were left dead. There was a greater social equality. Royal dynasties were diminished. The political map was redrawn. Russia was the first communist country, but there were still unresolved issues that would later lead to World War II. I hope you learned a lot about imperialism and how it leads into World War I in this short video. Thank you.